First course at Chenrezig Institute, Queensland, Australia, 1975. Lama Yeshe gave 2 lectures in Brisbane before he and Rinpoche arrived at Chenrezig Institute for a month-long meditation course, the second such course held outside Nepal. 120 people enrolled for it. Anila Ann and her team had all but finished building the Gompa on that steep, empty land at Yudlo. The work had been done mainly by volunteers, qualified tradespeople turning up just in the nick of time and seemingly out of the blue. Anne raised the money to pay for every plank and nail, though she was still living in the old shed. Once again, caravans were hired for the Lamas and Mummy Max, who was not impressed. I said to Lama, "Oh God, Lama, what karma you have. These camper trailers, no roads, no nothing." "It's not for me, it's for them," he told me, recalled Max. Lama had a big vision for this centre. In 1974 he had told them, "Think big, think big." That year, a horse called Think Big won the world-famous Melbourne Cup. In 1975, Think Big won the Cup again. No one had thought to place a bet. The course ran from May 5 to June 1. Mummy Max did not attend, nor did Kathy Victor, with whom Lama Yeshe spent some time cooking. Quote, "He showed me how to save time by squashing things with your hand instead of cutting them up. It worked just as well. He made a casserole one day by opening cans and just squashing the contents into bowls and saying mantras over them." Lama always said mantras while he cooked. He put so much physical energy into mundane stuff, like it was a really important part of his life, said Kathy. Lama's students presented him with an electric razor, despite the fact that he had only about 20 whiskers. He preferred the Tibetan method of plucking them out with a small engraved brass clip during quiet breakfasts with Mummy Max. Cameras always appeared when Lama Yeshe was around. Everyone loved new photos of him, dancing on the beach, sitting in meditation, laughing, playing. With the idea of commissioning a statue of Lama, Max arranged for a series of shots taken just of his head from every angle. He posed for these graciously and without any self-consciousness. Pete Northend and Colin Crosby worked hard on the new building, but Lama Yeshe wanted his wild, partying, hard-drinking Shinzo, the Tibetan word for carpenter, to enter a 13-year retreat. "I just couldn't do it," said Pete. "No way." Meanwhile, Electric Roger was thinking of becoming a monk. Quote, "I spoke to Lama Yeshe about it in Sydney. He said I should check up whether I could renounce everything, even food. He said if I wasn't ready to do that, I could start a centre in Sydney." When I got to Chenrezig, I had an interview with him in the Gompa. He was sitting alone in the middle of the room. I knew I was supposed to prostrate to him, but I still couldn't bow down to a person. So I turned and prostrated to the altar instead. When I told him I wanted to take robes, he just said, "Now or at Kopan?" I said I'd come to Kopan. Lama Yeshe invited Mummy Max to give a talk on what had led her to take ordination. Max was not used to this kind of thing. Lama further honoured her by insisting she sit on the teaching throne while speaking. Peter Fenner arrived in time for one of Lama Zopa's specialties, the death meditation. "It shifted something for me," recounted Peter. "I knew about my dark side, so I loved the idea of purification. I met Lama Yeshe alone in the Gompa and asked him to be my guru. I had a list of questions I didn't even get to ask because he answered them anyway. In the space of about 20 minutes, he also articulated the next 20 years of my life. He suggested I come and live at Chenrezig with my wife and daughter. Quote, "I want you to become a university professor and teach Dharma," he said. It wasn't exactly what I was planning, but I had total confidence in him. On May 24, Lama wrote a letter to Judy Weitzner in California, asking her to write the book His Holiness the Dalai Lama had requested, Tibetan People Today. Quote, "Please choose right name that is perfect, suitable and pays attention. Maybe make a documentary movie. Please you set up and organise. Should we adopt a legal name? You put your ideas together on paper and send to me in California." Quote, "I had been asked to organise Lama's first meditation course in the US, but was at a loss as I had never attended a course and didn't know what they wanted or needed. When I came back to Nepal in 1975, I found that Lama had asked Wongmo to organise it. I stayed on in Nepal, where Lama told me he had a very big job for me," said Judy. "He said he wanted to start an organisation to show the world the beneficial aspects of Tibetan culture and help preserve them. The emphasis was more cultural than political. At that time, very little was known about Tibet or His Holiness the Dalai Lama in the US. A week before the end of the course, after the Guru Puja in the Gompa, Lama Yeshe asked everyone to come outside to celebrate the Buddha's birthday by meditating together on the hill. Quote, "Lama and Rinpoche sat above us high on the hill," said Adrian Feldman. "We meditated for about 15 minutes, during which time I had a very strong vision of four-armed Chenrezig and a green lady. At that point, I didn't know about green Tara at all. I've never had another vision like that one. It just appeared in my mind that Lama was Tara and Rinpoche was Chenrezig. We took the 8 precepts that morning," Nick Rebush recalled. "Around 5 p.m, one of the students rushed up to Lama, panic-stricken, declaring that she'd mindlessly just eaten an apple in breach of her vow to fast after midday. Exuding compassion, Lama took her hand and said, 'Don't dwell on the minute you broke the vow, although you can easily purify that. Think of the almost 24 hours you've kept the vows purely and rejoice.' Of course, that calmed her down immediately." A couple of days before the course ended, Pra Somdet, abbot of Wat Bovaranives, who had offered lunch to the Lamas in Bangkok 2 months earlier, visited the centre. He was accompanied by Pra Kantipalo, Ayya Khema and some Thai monks from Sydney. Lama instructed his students to line up and formally welcome them, while he bounced around with his camera, taking photos and laughing freely, in total contrast to the very sober demeanour of his visitors. The abbot gave a Dharma talk to the Westerners, with Lama Yeshe sitting in the front row. At the end of the month-long course, 50 people took refuge with Lama Yeshe. Also, 58 received a Chenrezig empowerment from Lama and 45 received a Tara empowerment from Rinpoche. A number of those who had attended the course planned to do group retreat together, but Adrian Feldman wanted to do retreat alone. Quote, "I went to see Lama in his caravan and told him. He said that was fine, adding, 'Whenever a question comes into your mind, I want you to write me a letter.' I said, 'Okay,' even though I knew I was going to be in an extremely remote spot and miles from any letterbox." One of the Lama's last tasks in Queensland was to write to Peter Giuliano in Melbourne, thanking him for his many services. "Dear Peter Juliana, thank you so much for your giving pure Dharma. As much as possible, practice wisdom light and giving energy to other students. Please write what everyone is doing nowadays. I want to check up your daily life. So report. Keep continuously energetic wisdom bell ringing. Chenrezig Institute is fantastic. See you next year. Psychic kiss. Love, 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 Lama Yeshe. On the way to the airport for their flights to New Zealand, Lama Yeshe stopped to buy an orange plastic mug for everyone at Copan. These are very good, dear, not too hot to hold, he said. The Lamas then missed their flight to Sydney. Anne felt sad about the Lama's departure. Don't you like it here? Asked Lama. Oh, Lama, said Anne, you know all I want to do is live in your pocket. Back at Chenrezig, the retreaters settled into a regimen of silence and a diet of macrobiotic food. Lama Yeshe had left a taped message for them, which they played every day. Good morning, Golden Flower students. Enjoy divine wisdom chanting as much possible. Cultivate or activate wisdom action and stay in the universal compassion wisdom. Never come down in supermarket. Worthwhile. See you soon in the everlasting peaceful sky. Stay. Such simple words filled their hearts and minds with more satisfaction than years of formal education ever could.